You're listening to ArTEEtude, a podcast with artists created and produced by Detlef Schlich, a visual artist and ritual designer, living and loving in West Cork, and best known for his essay about the cause and effect of shamanism, art and digital culture. Working in the field of performance, photography, painting, sound, installations, and film, he will dive and discover with us and a weekly creative guest into the unknown and exciting deep ocean of the creative mind.
This is Detlef Schlich, and today we dive into the unknown and exciting ocean of the creative mind together with Matthew Robb. Matthew Robb's lyrical style of song poetry developed from a love of old-time country blues and his early years as a spoken word performance artist. So Matthew is a performance artist, singer-songwriter. Alongside his distinctive take on the American genre coupled with intelligent and thought-provoking songwriting, he regularly tours and performs internationally with his bands, but also solo when called for. Matthew has up to now released 3 well-acclaimed albums and currently lives with his family in Cologne, Germany, where I'm from, in a self-built home made from reclaimed material. I mean, the contact was actually created from a friend of mine, from Susanne. She helped as well Matthew to set up all the technology, but I think it looks like it works perfect. Hi Matthew, great to have you here.
Hi Detlef, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like I say, Susanne, she said, have a talk with Matthew, a fellow from England, and he's living here in the they call it Indiana Siedlung.
That's right.
And it is in Cologne, and it's not in Cologne. It's at the edge of Cologne. Is it?
Yes. About 20-minute cycle ride from the city.
Yeah, so it's a very nice place to be creative, probably. But we will get to that and to the second part, because we will start in the first part with Matthew's past. Actually, Matthew is from, what was it, Manchester?
Well, near there. I grew up in Bradford, which is maybe 60 kilometres from Manchester. It's another town in Yorkshire called Bradford, near Leeds.
Countryside. So how many people used to live there, or at the time when you grew up over there?
Oh, I guess we could be 500,000.
It's quite huge. I mean, it's almost like Cologne. I mean, Cologne has 1 million now.
Yeah, it's an old industrial town. So in the Victorian times, they made a lot of cloth there. There's a lot of water there, so they had a lot. They needed the water to dye the cloth. So there's a lot of old mills, big old factories, like the dark satanic mills. So it was very rich in the Victorian times.
I can imagine that. I mean, I can imagine that do these mills still exist?
Yeah, yes, they do. But I think they've renovated them into houses, into
lofts, probably,
Yes, into like flats.
Wow.
What we call flats,
Wow. And what was about practice rooms? Did they put them as well into practice room? I mean, in Cologne, the Renania in Cologne.
Yes.
We had our rehearse rooms over there, so, which was great. And I can imagine an old mill would be perfect for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it would. Yeah, there probably is, but I'm not aware of it right now. I've been away from there for so many years.
So how many years are you away now?
Well, I guess from Bradford, over 25 years.
All right. Okay, so you grew up there
Yes,
and went to school over there
yes.
as well, and learned to play probably guitar over there as well.
Yes, started playing guitar there, yeah.
How was it your first approach? What was it? What brought you to music?
To music, I guess the first was at the church. I joined, I was in the choir a little
Yeah.
bit,
Mm-hmm.
in the church choir. And then there was like a youth group, children youth group in
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who was running that, and she played guitar and violin.
All right.
And I was interested. I was about 11, and I took a few lessons on the violin.
Okay. And
Well, and yeah, I realised how uncomfortable it is. So I didn't get past the uncomfortable stage, but I quickly went on to the guitar.
so you didn't like to play the violin?
Yeah, I didn't get the hang of it, so the guitar seemed more comfortable.
Yeah. I just try to imagine how it would be. So if you're a singer-songwriter and if you would try to develop a song with a violin,
Well, there's a really infamous character in Cologne that does that, Klaus de Geiger.
Right, I forgot. Yeah, sure. So he does it actually with a violin, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Right. But I mean, it's very unusual actually. There are not many people who are gonna do it, I would say.
No, I think he's one of the few, of the old style fiddlers that sing, songs with a fiddle. I remember the first time I saw him in Cologne
Yeah.
on the street, and he was playing all these sweet melodies, and he got a big crowd around him with all these lovely, lovely classical melodies. And when he had the crowd, he started screaming all these heavy political songs.
Did you? I mean, I must tell the listeners, the English-speaking listeners, Klaus der Geiger is was an ancient character from Cologne, and I mean a left-wing character, very political as well, and he's actually well known in the whole scene, left-wing scene, isn't he?
Hmm.
So that means we speak about 25 years ago. That was then. When did you arrive then in Germany? It was 80.
Oh, I guess in Germany, yeah, about 21 years ago.
21 years ago. And
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, Klaus der Geiger was in the 80s. Actually, I think 70s, 80s was the high time. I mean, I had a chat with Dominik van Zenger and all this band members from Can and then Dunkelziffer, which were quite famous in the 70s and 80s, and that was far more the time where Bader-Meinhof was very popular, So that was it.
Yeah, I arrived in Cologne, I guess, in '99.
And, all right.
And mentioning Dunkelziffer, I used to play with a guy, I think, from that band, Matthias Coyle.
Yeah. Sure.
I used to play with him. He used to play in my band.
I'm now already 20 years, longer than 20 years away. No, almost 20 years away from Cologne, from Germany. So haven't seen nobody anymore. I mean, except via this podcast,
Yes.
So that's the thing. So yeah, Klaus der Geiger. Wow, that you mentioned the name, the violin player. Yeah. Yeah, but back to you. You started then to pick up the guitar, and
Yes, picked up the guitar and started to learn the old country blues.
with
Picking blues, I
Was it-
like the finger picking.
with 11.
Oh, no, I wasn't that young playing the blues, no. I guess the first songs were just, whatever you learn in books, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like these, gospel songs and American folk music, Blowing in the Wind, and Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Down by the Riverside.
Down by
Things
the
like-
riverside.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so sure. So what so that used to be as well your first songs, what you listened to or was there any other inspiration from your parents' side or something like this?
Yeah, I guess there were records around the house. Elvis, and the old big bands, Glenn Miller,
Yeah.
things like this were around the house. And I guess when I got to about 10, 11, Blondie, used to listen to Blondie.
All right. 10, 11?
Yeah, so, well, I was born in 69. So
69. All right. I was wondering. Yes, sure. Yeah. Because I was.
And then, yeah, obviously the Beatles, John Lennon. We used to listen to Neil Young when we were about 10 years old.
So you used to be 11 when guys or when bands like Blondie start to play. How was the time then over there down at your place? I mean, as punk was somehow started.
Yeah, punk, I guess, started in England in 77, didn't it? In America earlier with the New York Dolls, I guess a few years earlier, but punk started in the mid to late 70s, 77, I think.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, my older brother, was a real punk.
Was he?
Yeah, so he had the Mohican and everything.
Honestly.
So, yeah, and we shared a bedroom, so I got my daily dose of punk music.
I was wondering, so how was it for you as a young guy? I mean, you used to be then 69, 79, 8 years old as it started. How old was your brother? How many years older?
He's three and a half years older.
So we speak about you were probably 8 and he was already 11, almost 12.
Yes,
a
but
teenager.
I guess it was a couple of years into it that he got into it. I don't know. He was probably 13. When I remember going down to the record store. The first records I ever bought from HMV.
Yeah.
I bought 3 singles. One was "God Save the Queen" by the Pistols. One was "Tell the Children" by Sham 69.
Yeah.
And I think the other one was Temple Tudor. So I bought 3 punk records, and I bought them for my brother.
You bought it from your brother. He sold it to you.
For him. So I'd have been about 9 or 10 then, yeah.
What did you pay for it?
Can't remember.
No. Sure. So, but I mean, it's interesting because I think if one is quite young, I mean, I know that in my case, my first record was "A Song of Joy" from Miguel Rios, and I was as well 8 years old, and then it started direction Mango Jerry in the summertime, Alice Cooper, School's Out, T-Rex, Hot Love, and all that,
Yes.
And I was as well quite young, 8 year, but I think punk is somehow quite extreme, and I think that should influence you as well already with 8 years. I mean, it probably it forms and influences your political thinking with 8 years, doesn't it?
I'm not sure. Could have, but we had all sides. From the other side, we had religion and school. And then from this side, we had culture. So punk music. So yeah, we were like pretty much stuck between the church and the punk music, singing in the choir and going home and sticking on Johnny Rotten. So yeah, I guess it's 2 extremes, but I don't know. I don't know if they did any damage.
All right.
what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support.
Okay.
Now back to the show.
All right, punk in the church. That sounds great, actually. And you never came to the idea to adapt somehow punk songs in a church choir.
Well, maybe the closest I got is the song "Ode to Consequentialism."
That's great, actually. So we're gonna play that later at the end of this show. So because I really liked it. So it's actually, so I just can mention it. It is I might show it over here. Matthew has now already 3 CDs, and that's his. I mean, that's his 3rd one. I might show this next week on YouTube, and you can see the cover. That's Matthew Robb's 3rd CD called "War Without Witness," and one song is "Ode to Consequentialism," but we might get later, or probably as well in the second part, more into details when we speak about the now and the yet. So now in the first part we still stick somehow to the past and probably very interesting times in on a place like this. I mean, how was it actually? I know in Cologne, for instance, we had in the 70s, 80s, all these old houses. They started to refurbish it somehow, and I wonder how it was at this time in the 70s, 80s with these old mills. Were there already flats, or were they still empty? I mean, could you was there a possibility to occupy them or whatever?
I'm not sure. I remember my uncle buying a house for us for £1, which is like, £1. You couldn't even buy a packet of cigarettes for £1.
Oh,
and he bought a house for £1 because it was like a derelict house. They were going to knock it down in 6 months. You could buy them for £1 and live in them
for half a year.
For half a year. So, the thing, we grew up in a normal place in Bradford. I guess it was nice, we had a big recreation place to play football.
Yeah.
And we were out playing football and riding his bikes, fixing bikes and playing football, and it was great,
But so you could buy for £1 an old house, and probably then the contract was that you have to leave then this place. It was no chance to occupy it or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. You had to leave it. Yeah.
So did plenty people use this option?
I'm not sure. With the bills, I think some of them were listed buildings, because they're old, but some got torn down.
Yeah.
A few of the buildings were torn down, and a lot of people resisted this because they're beautiful old buildings. So I think eventually they started to refurbish them, and now I guess they're quite good accommodation now.
I can imagine that. I mean, old mills that transforming them into lofts is probably a great thing, isn't it? I mean, probably very expensive and difficult to do, but yeah. Well, I mean, was there? I'm wondering, did you have anything what was a little bit similar in the 70s, like the house occupying, like in Cologne, especially during the times of the riots and over there?
Yes, but the squatting, we call it. But
yeah.
we didn't get into that until we were like 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
Up until then I was living, of course, with my family, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we squatted. There was squats definitely around, and a lot of youths living in squats. Well, I lived in one for a while.
How long?
I guess a few months.
So it was not.
I've
that-
experienced it.
Yeah, yeah, but you didn't fancy it too much. I mean, you used to be not then this activist who is just living in squats.
No. That's no.
So you preferred more the quieter life a little bit.
Well, no, but I've been on the move, you know. So been on the move quite a bit. So as soon as I was old enough, I went traveling, you know.
Already, with
Yeah,
17.
16.
And that, for just for good. I mean, or so you started.
Yeah, we just hitchhiked down to Greece
Yeah,
and lived and worked in Greece for 4 months.
yeah.
And you know, shoveling the goat shit for the farmers.
It's for the Greek farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you already start then to write your own songs, or?
No, not at that age. No. But I was always interested in poetry and writing.
Yeah.
So, but no, I was just out trying to, I guess, escape the confines of growing up in a small town, you know. I wanted to see the world a little bit.
Sure.
I'd never left England, so I wanted to have a look around, you know,
Yeah.
different cultures. In my 20s,
Yeah.
I went off to South America
All right.
and stayed out there for about 8 months.
That's a long time. Where have you been in South America? I mean, it's quite a somehow dangerous place.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know, we went. I went in many countries, but you know, it's a big place, so you can spend time out there. You know.
Sure. I mean, I used to be in Panama and Costa Rica for 3 months in total. That was somehow enough. I mean, I realized that I'm somehow more European than Middle American, you know. So
Yeah.
and like I say, it's quite dangerous. I mean, this life is they totally deal with different issues, isn't it? Totally. I mean,
Yeah, it could be. It's a long time ago, you know, since I was there. But I was down in Patagonia like for a while too, and then travelled up.
did he ever rob you, or
I guess, yeah, a few times.
did they?
Yeah.
So it's actually that's why you call yourself Matthew Robb, or is Robb your real second name?
Well, yeah, we got robbed a few times, but I'm sure we robbed back, you know.
Honestly.
We weren't innocent, you know.
So what means?
No, they have all the tricks. Yeah, you know, we got robbed. I remember when we hit Ecuador. We was in Ecuador,
Yeah.
and I found the first English bookshop that I'd seen on my travels. So I bought a few big books. You know, I bought the collected works of Jack London and things. I was in my mid-20s,
Yeah.
and I put them in my rucksack.
Yeah.
And I was carrying them around, you know, for something to read.
Yeah.
And one day we was at the marketplace, and some gentleman, he approached me. He said, "Can I change his money?"
Yeah.
And obviously it was a trick. While I was changing the money, somebody run away with my rucksack.
Yeah.
And but it was so heavy because there were all these books in it that he had to throw it. He had to leave it. It was too heavy for him to run with. So he run round the corner and he dumped it on the next block, you know. So we got it back. Thanks to Jack London.
I just what's mentioned. Good old Jack London saved your rucksack. So was money in it as well?
Maybe it's a long time ago. Can't remember.
Yeah. So you said we. So you were traveling with other people together as a group.
No, traveling with my partner Astrid.
Yeah.
She's still my partner now.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah. So we traveled. That was our first big journey.
All right. So is she German?
Yes.
That sounds very German. Okay, so it's 25. So wow, that sounds cool. So you had a great experience together over there.
Yeah, fine, great time.
How was it for you as you came back? Was it a culture shock somehow?
Well, then we travelled up and we ended up in America, USA.
All right.
So the culture shock was in the USA.
I can imagine that.
That was a bit of a culture shock. But so we lived there for about 6 months in the US, and then we came back.
Where did you end up? In the USA.
In the USA, well, when we passed the border, El Paso, we had no money.
All right.
So we took the Mexican bus. The Mexican bus went 3 places, which California for the fruit picking, Denver, Colorado for the construction, and somewhere else. So I thought we'll go to Denver because I remembered all the old cowboy films.
All right.
So we went to Denver and found this enormous city, you know. So we went up into the mountains, up in a place called Vail, Colorado. It was summer. It was a skiing place, but it was summertime, so there's no skiing. And we went into the forest and we lived there. But after about 3 days, we got some work and we worked there.
All right.
But we lived in the forest, which was nice, in the Rockies there.
All right. You know what? So because I just we are already on the first 30 minutes, and so the first part is almost over, and I would like to play a song from you for the listeners. With which song should we start in this part? Do you have an idea?
Well, we mentioned Ode.
Yeah.
So let's play that.
Yeah. So I would say dear listeners, listen to the Ode to Consequentialism by Matthew Robb, and this is from his last CD, War Without Witness. And yeah, so I would say we hear us in a couple of minutes again.
Your arguments end with me. There with the emboweled sperm penetrating the gates of the first days of creation. There with lonesome thoughts of the womb that rush, tumble, scream, roll and writhe, entrapped within the bellowing besmirched corridors of dark clouds. There with the autumnal coal smoke of childhood reverie. There with broken glass memories of disused derelict factories that reflect the disillusionment of youth. There with the disingenuine smiles written in the stone pavements of yesteryear. There with labyrinth empty hallways of failed opportunity and expectation. There with the weary tune of pig iron burdens of guilt. There with rotten abandoned railroad yards lost in opaque concrete wildernesses. There with ragged ribbons of cherry wine coloured sky sinking beyond habituated granite edifices. There with the vague offerings and the confused mysteries of the fog. There with starry wild bespangled nights of intoxication on insane tumid lakes with broken oars. There with great barren celestial dreams in dusking empty cornfields of woe. There with the stone-sharpened moon and the barbed wire metal of the night. There with the fetid odour that lingers in the stairwells of perception. There with interminable, unrelenting bureaucrats of officialdom hurling rusty old truck spanners into the sweet poems of the soul. There with scattering the dirt of false teachers. There with innocent deserted thoughts of broken down caboose trains getting tangled in the gleaming machinery of Big Brother. There with the low hum of freak technology chips replacing the blood and guts of courage and longing. There with spinning sordid mythomaniacal webs of self-delusion. There with warped formulaic synapse-choked invention masquerading as truth. There with legions of armies of intent. There with multi-headed political geekdoms carry as rhetorical incantations of corpect monotony. There with monstrous enclaves of miscommunication. There with myriad untrampled dirt roads of illumined innumerable lands everywhere. There with the myoped eye of conjugal misapprehensions. There with drowning in the debris of colossal yearnings and badly scored laments. There with the incalculable roar of memory that screeches past in overhead oblivion. There with vast rivers of uncried tears that rush in great canyons scarred from the heart. There with the dead souls that tumble in perpetual chaos under the cold iron wheels of the railroad. Your arguments end with me.
Thank you very much for having this tune in my show, Matthew. That was. Is it what is the background of this song? I mean, is it especially a philosopher who's behind it, or?
I'm not sure how that came about. I don't know. Do you understand consequentialism?
I thought today I should look it up and should research a little bit into it, and I think if I was reading the lyrics, if you try to live in a form of consequentialism, it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, it drives you crazy.
I don't know. I think, like a lot of my other songs, it's like a searching for a place, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a lot of my lyrics are about seeking for something.
Yeah, sure.
So it's difficult to explain, I guess. Yeah, unusual. It just came quite quickly, that song.
All right, let's stay like this. I mean, without words. I really like the song, and we might hear in the second part more of your songs as well. Another song. I would say, dear listeners, if you want to listen more to Matthew Robb's song, Matthew has a website. It's MatthewRobb.com, isn't it?
Yes.
The Facebook account Matthew Robb. So it's still you have to still to set it up, I think, no? Or
yeah, there's the artist Matthew Robb music. The artist, but
I put that as well into my description. Is there already an Instagram account, Matthew Robb, now?
Not right now.
All right.
So I can set one up.
Yeah. So if you set this up, I put the link as well into my description, and people could then as well befriend you over there, can follow you there, you know. So and if you provide them with some maybe some other details, whatever, from images or guys, you will find that, like always, in my description. And in my case, if you want to find me, it's as well on Instagram at ArTEEtude, or on Instagram at Detlef Schlich, or Detlef Schlich on Facebook. And this show will come on YouTube next week, next Sunday at 10 o'clock as well, if you want to watch it over there. If you want to support this podcast, buy some t-shirts, or actually a cup like this here, you can find it on www.arteetude.com. Matthew, I would say thank you very much. We are almost finishing the first part, and I hope to see you in the second part.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
You have listened to ArTEEtude, West Cork's first art, fashion and design podcast. ArTEEtude, never so close again. That was too close.